Hey guys, it's Yolante, the Thesocialbutherfly, and if you're interested in how I transformed into this, then stay tuned for this sultry cranberry look. Alright, first things first is applying my foundation. My skin's already been prepped, but I'm using here the Juvias Place I Am Magic foundation. It is a velvet formula foundation. I'm using the color 330, also known as Accra, and I'm just using a foundation brush to apply this product to my entire face. I'm checking myself out to make sure that I've got myself fully covered. Alright, next I'm going to go ahead and correct. I'm using the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the color Orange and Peach. I've combined the two to make the perfect shade for me. The orange is usually too dark and the peach is too light. I've gone ahead and applied these colors to different parts of my face that I feel are dark and need correction. Alright, next I'm going to set my foundation with a setting powder. I'm using MAC Select Sheer Loose Powder in the shade NW45. I'm just applying this all over my face to make sure my foundation stays in place. Next I'm going to highlight and conceal using a Beaky Beauty Sponge and the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the color Warm Honey. And I'm just putting that on areas of my face that I want to highlight and bring forward. I'm using the sponge to press the product into my face and to also smooth out any edges so that there are no lines of demarcation. Then I take my finger and press underneath my eye. I like to make sure that my product is pressed into my skin. Next I'm going to use a mixture of two setting powders, the Black Radiance Loose Powder in Banana and the Ben 9 Luxury Powder in Topaz. And I'm going to mix those colors and use that just to set the areas of my face that I put highlight on. Next I'm going to use my eye primer. This is from Studio Minx Cosmetics in the color Medium Dark. And I'm using this to be able to prime my lids in preparation for my eye color. Here I'm using another large eyeshadow pan from Studio Minx Cosmetics in the color Navajo Brown. This is going to be my transition color, and as you can see I'm applying this color on and above my crease. Just on and above my crease, and I'm buffing it into circles to get rid of any lines so that the color looks smooth and that there's a smooth transition. I'm showing you two different makeup brushes. The first brush I use is the black one to apply my transition color. Now I'm going to use the beige one and go in with a darker color called Bark, and that one is going to go just beneath the first color that I applied. Next I'm using the I Heart Revolution Donut eyeshadow palette in the color Strawberry Sprinkles, and I'm using the darkest of that shade and just applying some color to the outer corner and inner corner of my eye. You'll notice that I'm not putting any product in the middle of my lid because that's where I'm going to apply the majority of the pop of color. Next I've taken the middle shade, and that is a pop. As you can see, this color is much more metallic and shimmery. This color is going to the middle of my eye, and I'm applying as much as I need in order for that color to pop. You may need to do a couple of applications in order for the color to really show. Next I'm taking another blending brush and I'm going to go back into that large eyeshadow pan in the color Navajo, which was my first transition shade, and I'm going to apply that color back onto my crease. Next I'm using a eye pencil. Don't judge me, it's real little, I know. and this eye pencil is in Rosé Naturel. And instead of using white in my waterline, I like to use a beige, and I use that to open up my eyes and make my eyes look a bit bigger. I did get some fallout, so I'm just wiping that away. And I'm using my Beaky Beauty Sponge to go over it with my highlight color. If you make any mistakes, that's all you gotta do. Next, I'm gonna go back into the Strawberry Sprinkles and use now the lightest of all the shades. And I'm gonna apply that color underneath my eye. I'm using a rounded, spongy pencil brush to apply that color underneath my eye. Next, I'm going to take that same spongy brush or pencil brush and go back in with the large eyeshadow pan in Bark. And this time I'm going to apply it underneath my eye, but I'm going to apply it higher up and closer to my actual eyelash, bottom eyelash line. So I'm not going to take it down as far as the red goes all the way down. This is going to go just above it. And you'll see it's added some depth to my eye, especially when I use that eyeliner pencil. I needed to add some depth and dimension back to my eye. And now I'm going to clean up any fallout, or if that first initial red color that I put under my eye is too low, I'm going to go ahead and bring it up some and clean it up so that it's not too far down on my face. Next, I'm going to use the e.l.f. liquid liner pen, and I'm going to go ahead and draw on a winged eye. I like to look in the mirror and check and see if the wings or the lines are as equal as possible. Sometimes I don't always get it right the first time, so I just go in and make adjustments. Next, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Volume Plumping Mascara in the color Black, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply lots of mascara to both my bottom and my top lashes. And even though I'm going to be wearing false strip lashes, I like to put mascara on my eyes because, one, it helps blend my eyelashes into the false eyelashes, but it also allows me to see where to drop the false lashes onto my face. Here I'm using the Veleasha strip eyelashes in the style Dubai, and you can see me applying the lashes to my eyes. Guys, eyelashes make such a huge difference in any look. This look went completely sexy just using some strip eyelashes. What I do is drop the lash into the middle of my eyelid, and then I look onto the mirror and start making adjustments, and I pull the ends and attach them to the ends of my lash line. Next, I'm going to go in with that large eyeshadow pan again, and although it's an eyeshadow pan, guys, you can multi-purpose your makeup, and I'm going to use that brown to contour my face. I like to check both sides. As you can see, there's a difference in both sides of my face. When you contour your face, you look more sculpted, more chiseled, and it also makes you look thinner in your face. And so I like to add it to the top of my hairline, obviously around my cheekbone area, and also around my jawline. Next, I'm going to go back in with those setting powders that I used earlier, the two colors that I mixed, the Ben Nye and the Radiance loose powder, the same colors that I used to set my highlight under my eye. And I'm just using that to chisel out where I left my contour line, just because I want to make that line more pronounced. And next, I'm taking my powder brush. I don't have any product on it, but I used it in order to buff around my entire face to marry all of the shades together. Next, I'm using my Studio Minx Cosmetics Precise Sculpt Brow Pencil, and I love this pencil. It's the only one that I use to get my brows together. I love this pencil because on one end you have the actual product, but on the other end you have the spoolie in order to comb your brush hairs in place. This product is not waxy, it's not shiny, and so it looks really good when you put it on your brows. It mimics the appearance of actual brow hairs when you stroke it on correctly. And as you can see, I'm just combing the color through my brows. You'll notice I don't put product in the middle of my brow because if you do that, it'll look too fake. You'll notice, see how I'm leaving the middle of the brow open? And then I just brush through the brow hair to pull any extra product in the middle. This will give you sort of an ombre look. The next thing I'm going to do is take a flat, round concealer brush and that warm honey that I used earlier to highlight with, and I'm going to now sculpt out my brows for an even more precise look. And all you have to do is just take that brush as carefully as you need to and go underneath your brow in order to carve out the desired shape. I usually just do it on the bottom and on the top. If I need to go around the entire brow, I will, but usually it's around this area that you see me working on that gives me the most sculpted look. Now, of course, that color is lighter than my actual skin tone, so you are going to have to blend it out. So I can use either my fingers or the Beaky Beauty sponge. I'm showing you either way. I use my fingers at first or my sponge to blend it out, so that way you don't have a halo around your eyes. And I'm going to do the same thing to my other brow. I'm just using that lighter concealer color to highlight my brow and sculpt around my brow and to highlight underneath my brow. It's going to give me a much more sharper look. I take a look to try to get the eyes as even as possible. Guys, we all know the brows, you hear people say brows are cousins, not sisters. So as long as they look similar, then that's fine. And then I just kind of go back in with my pencil and add any more product that I feel like I need to so that the brows can look as symmetrical as possible. Next, I'm going to go in with MAC's Brow Gel. It's called their brow set in the color Girl Boy. My hair underneath my turban is blonde, and so that's why I like to lighten up my brows so that my brows don't look too, there's not too much of a contrast between my brows and my hair. And that this color Girl Boy is one of my absolute favorite blonde brow gels. So the brow gel is great because one, it can add color to your brow, but also it pulls your brows and keeps them in place if you have brows that are really wild. Next, I'm going to go back in with the Studio Minx Cosmetics Large Eyeshadow Pan, and I'm going to mix the Navajo and the bark together, and I'm going to use that to contour my nose. This is just helping me chisel out my nose. Doing this does not make my nose necessarily look thinner. It can if that's what I want it to, but what I'm doing is actually, because I know on video or in pictures my nose can get washed out and look flatter. I'm actually using that color around the edges of my nose to put dimension back into my nose. And of course you have to use some type of brush to blur out or buff out the edges so that it doesn't look too dark. And then I'm using my Beaky Beauty sponge because it has some products on it, because the colors I used are kind of dark, especially that bark. So I'm using this to kind of blend in those colors a little bit. Next, I'm going to use the Studio Minx Cosmetics Shimmer Highlight in the color Amber Glow. And I'm just going to add that to the upper planes of my cheek. And this is just going to give me a radiant glow. I did like to put a little bit on the tip of my nose just for this look. And then I'm buffing it out. As you can see, there's a distinct line where I contoured and where I highlighted. So what I'm going to do is use another brush, the same style brush, and I'm going to now take a blush from Studio Minx Cosmetics, and I'm going to go between, and I'm going to slow this down for you guys. I'm going to go between the dark color and the lightness, the darkness of the contour and the lightness of the shimmer highlight, and in between there, right there, is where you're going to see me apply my blush. And what that blush is going to do is, one, it's going to add some color back into my skin. So it's going to give me sort of this flush look, which is the purpose of blush, to give you color. But two, it's also going to buff out and provide a transition between the lightness of the shimmer highlight and the darkness of the contour. Next, I'm going to use a drugstore brand lip liner. I'm not sure what brand this is. It's just an inexpensive lip liner in the color dark brown. And now I'm going to go in with a lip gloss from Studio Minx Cosmetics. Using it, it's a sort of a nude plum brown, and I'm using that for this particular look because my general rule of thumb is if I'm using a bright or bold eye color, then I generally like to use a less bold lip color. And so this particular lip gloss literally goes with every shade, anything. Gonna look at myself, and y'all, I am definitely liking what I'm seeing. All right, guys, I thank you for watching. I hope you appreciate this video as much as I appreciate you. Bye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, guys.